Last time, Soludo, when he came up with his own, it was 18 months. That was from 2004 to 2006. So effectively, this one is 2 years, and so I believe the time frame is okay in terms of time frame. However, the most important thing is to look at the objective for which the then consolidation took place, and the objectives probably that the current one is taking place. Now, at that time, the central bank came up with a number of objectives. The major one among them was the fact that they wanted a situation whereby Nigerian banks could compete internationally. The Nigerian banks would become more resilient, more robust, much more stronger, with a better capital base. And they wanted, among other things, to ensure that Nigerian banks rank among the biggest banks in Africa, and then become global players, among many other reasons for the consolidation. Now, when you put that side by side with the current objective, which were clear, the current objective is that, one, there is a national objective whereby we want to grow the Nigerian economy to at least $1 trillion to become a $1 trillion economy. That is in terms of GDP. And then, of course, at the same time, to do as the other one anticipated, to increase the strength of the banks, their ability to become more secure, depositors' money to be more secure and all that. Now, having said all this, the time frame, like I said, is okay. However, in terms of quantum of money that is being expected to be generated, 500 billion, for example, for the international banks, that's the banks with international authorization, and then all the others down the line, is not huge compared to the value of the naira today, because again, you have to put everything side by side with the value of the currency at the moment. So in that regard, sincerely, it's not much. However, there are many concerns, and like Professor Awaleke said, I think some of those concerns need to be looked at, because among other things, we are afraid, we are concerned that are we likely going to achieve some of these objectives? One, we want to make the Nigerian economy a $1 trillion economy by 2030. That is just 6 years down the line. We are not up to 500 billion as we speak. So that is a huge Herculean task for us to achieve. However, it's good to have that perspective. But then look at it this way. Now, with all the best of intentions, when we started and we said we want to make Nigerian banks among the top banks in Africa, yes, quite a number of them became much stronger, opened many branches all over in many countries of the world, and all that. But then, now with the devaluation, as of last year, when I saw the last ranking of banks in Africa by African Business Magazine, none of our banks was in the top 10, looking at every category, including Tier 1 capital and profitability and all those. So now, with the devaluation that has happened to the Naira, the reality is that when you see the 2024 ranking of this bank, they are going to be much lower. And in fact, even after 2026, with these huge amounts injected into the banks, there will still be a challenge, because they will now retard back, and they may not be able to compete in the sense that we're talking about because of the value, like I said, of the Naira. Now, there are also concerns, which again, especially with regards to the exclusion of retained earnings. It would have been better to actually increase the amount and then still utilize retained earnings, because retained earnings are funds that are real. They are part of capital anywhere, and they are part of Tier 1 capital, and so they should have been taken care of. And in any case, in the case of Nigeria, we are doing very well in the sense that in terms of depositors' comfort, giving depositors comfort, because Basel Accord, is giving, let's say, for example, 6% or 8%, as the case may be. That is, they are recommending that should be the Tier 1 capital, looking at the risk-based factor. That is the percentage of shareholders' funds, Tier 1, vis-a-vis depositors' funds, total depositors' funds should be in that region. But our own requirement in the CBN is something in the region of over 15%, I think 16%. So that is even much more. So we are doing so much on that count. We are increasing whatever percentage of capital that they should maintain consistently, based on central bank guidelines, has been more or less double what was expected. Then in addition to that, we are now saying quantum of money should also increase, which is again positive. But I'm afraid that if you look at it very well, because of the valuation of the naira vis-a-vis the dollar, we may not have made much progress when you compare us with our ranking, on the African continent as it is. It is going to be South African banks, Egyptian banks, Moroccan banks, Algerian banks, as the case may be.